Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a topic that is literally the backbone of the hospitality industry. We're talking about professional English for tourism. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Grammar? Really? But stick with me here, because I want you to completely reframe how you think about this. We aren't going to look at this as some dry, dusty set of textbook rules that you just memorize for a test. Instead, think of this as your ultimate, highly practical toolkit for mastering customer service. Honestly, these are the verbal keys to unlocking a true five-star guest experience.
So let me ask you a real question right out of the gate. Are you making these common customer service errors? Just step into the shoes of a seasoned hospitality mentor for a second. Imagine you've perfectly prepped this luxury suite, or you've organized an absolutely incredibly city tour. But the moment you speak to the client, a clunky, poorly phrased sentence completely derails the interaction. Could poor phrasing be the invisible culprit behind those frustrating bad reviews, or maybe those subtly confused looks on your guests' faces? It happens way more often than you think, and it's exactly what we are going to fix today.
Here is our itinerary for five-star communication today. We'll start with the rules of hospitality, then move into expressing existence and availability, followed by counting your tourism inventory, and finally, mastering polite customer care. All right, Section 1, expressing existence and availability. Basically telling guests what facilities and services actually exist around them using there is and there are. Think about it. When a guest first arrives at your hotel, your tour office, or maybe a transport terminal, what is the very first thing they need to know? They need the lay of the land. They need you to establish the physical environment and tell them exactly what amenities exist. In tourism, we rely constantly on there is and there are. And the rule here is brilliantly simple once you break it down. If you're talking about a singular noun, just one thing, like a currency exchange desk, you use there is, or the spoken contraction theirs. But if you're talking about plural nouns, multiple things like two separate checkout lines, you use there are. And a quick pro tip, we never contract there are in professional writing. This structure shifts seamlessly whether you're making an affirmative statement, a negative statement, or asking a question. Let's look at how this actually sounds in practice. Picture this. You're working the concierge desk, and you have to deliver some slightly disappointing logistical news to a guest. You'd adopt that warm, empathetic agent persona and say, "I am sorry, but there isn't a direct bus to the airport on Sundays." Notice the use of the negative singular structure, there isn't, paired with a direct bus. It's clear, it's grammatically flawless, and it really softens the blow of the bad news. Now, let's totally flip the script. Put yourself in the shoes of an inquisitive client looking at a brochure. They might walk right up to you and ask, "Are there any extra fees for using the hotel spa?" This perfectly demonstrates how the interrogative plural structure naturally sounds in a real-world hotel scenario. Are there? Because we are talking about fees, plural. Hearing it in context like this really cements why getting this right is just so absolutely crucial for smooth communication. But watch out, because here is where we hit a massive stumbling block. It's a classic rookie mistake. A lot of English learners will say, "There have many tourists in the office today." But in English, have is used to show possession. It means ownership. And well, you don't own the tourists, right? To correctly show existence, to say that the tourists are physically present, you absolutely must use "there are many tourists in the office today." It's a subtle shift, but it is a vital one if you want to sound like a polished professional. Moving on to Section 2, counting your tourism inventory. This is all about mastering countable versus uncountable nouns and quantifiers. So existence is just the start. To discuss your amenities, your prices, and your services accurately, you absolutely must know if the items you're talking about can actually be counted one by one. Let's lay the foundation here. What exactly is an uncountable noun in a tourism context? Well, these are mass items, abstract concepts, or collective ideas that simply cannot be counted individually. You literally can't put a number in front of them. Because of this, they never, ever take an S at the end, and they always use a singular verb. Grasping this concept is the bedrock for our next set of customer service rules. Now, listen to this specific list of common uncountable offenders. Think about these words: accommodation, money, luggage, travel, information, and time. I want you to read those out loud with me in your head. These specific words are used dozens of times a day in hospitality. You don't say you have 2 accommodations or 3 luggages. You just don't. These words have to be handled with extreme care to maintain that 5-star polish. Think of it like building a mental map. You want to connect the countable items with their uncountable mass category counterparts. For instance, you can count rooms for sure,
but the broad category accommodation is uncountable. You can count euros or dollars, but the overarching concept of money is uncountable. You count a suitcase or a bag, but never luggage. By linking the countable specific item to its uncountable broad category in your mind, you are never going to make a pluralization mistake again.
Okay, so once you know what kind of noun you're dealing with, how do you measure it? You need an essential quantifier cheat sheet. The words you choose to navigate some, any, much, and many depend entirely on whether your sentence is affirmative, negative, or a question, and whether your noun is countable or uncountable. For example, in negative sentences, we use many for countable plural nouns, like saying there are not many seats left. But we use much for uncountable nouns, like not much luggage. Now pay super close attention here because this is a VIP rule of customer service. Normally, as we just established, you use any for questions. But there is a massive exception, and we call it the hospitality exception. We use some in questions only when we are making a polite offer or request. Would you like some complimentary coffee? While any is the standard go-to, some is basically your secret weapon for providing those warm, inviting, hospitable offers that make guests feel truly taken care of. And that brings us to another major service fail you absolutely need to avoid. You might hear someone say, "Can you give me an information?" or "I need many informations." No, we just learned this. Information is heavily uncountable. It never takes an S to become plural, and it never uses the singular a or an before it. The correct professional way to phrase this is, "Can you give me some information?" or "I need a lot of information." Keep that S far, far away from the word information.
All right, Section 4, Mastering Polite Customer Care. Specifically, using polite modals like can, could, and would like.
We are now at the climax of our concierge journey. We're stepping out from behind the inventory spreadsheet and moving directly into face-to-face guest interactions. Let's look at our first two polite modals side by side, can versus could. They seem really similar, but they have distinctly different jobs in a hospitality setting. Can is your direct, friendly greeting tool. It's for proactive offers. It's walking right up to a guest with a big smile and saying, "How can I assist you today?" Could, on the flip side, is your formal tool. It's conditional, it's slightly indirect, and that makes it perfect for when you need the guest to provide data or take action. Like gently asking, "Could I see your passport?" Then, we have the ultimate hospitality phrase. Put on your most polished, high-end travel agent voice for this one. Would you like a window seat or an aisle seat on the plane? Would like is the absolute gold standard alternative to the word want. Think about it. Saying, "Do you want a window seat?" sounds a little demanding, a bit blunt, and honestly, pretty unprofessional. Would you like elevates the entire interaction instantly.
And the beauty of this structure is that it totally works both ways. Snap right back into your client persona. Imagine a guest walking up to the bar or the front desk. They don't just say, "I want water." A polite guest expresses their desire for a noun by using the exact same structure. "I would like a glass of water, please." It's basically the universal standard for polite transactional English.
But what if the guest doesn't just desire a noun? What if they want to perform an action? Well, let's break down this grammar syntax like it's a super easy-to-follow recipe for customer service. If a guest wants to book a room or an agent wants to show a tour, you use this simple 4-step formula. 1. Subject. 2. Would like. 3. And please pay attention to this one, the word to. It is the crucial particle. And 4. The verb and its base form.
I am passionately emphasizing step 3 because of this final high-stakes rookie mistake. You will literally hear people say, "I would like book a tour." And honestly, it makes a hospitality professional cringe. The to particle is absolutely 100% essential when you are introducing an action verb after would like. It just has to be, "I would like to book a tour." Do not drop the to, or the whole polished sentence completely falls apart.
So, to wrap up this explainer, let me leave you with this provocative thought. How will your words shape your next guest's experience? As we've seen today, distinguishing between there is and there are, navigating those tricky uncountable nouns, and mastering modals like would like are not just dry academic rules. No way. They are the literal building blocks of 5-star communication. Your grammar is your toolkit. Keep it sharp, use it well, and watch how it completely transforms your guest interactions.
Thanks for hanging out with me on The Explainer today, and keep learning.